Welcome back to another 2021 Player Outlook presented by RotoHeat.com. This time we're talking Rhamondre Stevenson, running back, New England Patriots. And don't forget, smash that like, the subscribe, the notification icon so you can stay up to date with our player outlooks, any live videos, all the stuff we drop here on YouTube. Let's get to it. All right, so of the guys that looked at Stevenson, we think he's going to finish somewhere beyond RB36. 4 are buying him, 2 are holding him. Nobody's selling him at this point. Definitely an intriguing option in the Dynasty format, in the Dynasty community, because in theory, he's just one injury away from significant playing time. We're definitely positive his ADP is going to be higher next year as opposed to where it is currently because it's super low. You know, if you look at redraft, he's RB63. If you look at Dynasty, RB48. Definitely going to see that go on the rise after this season and throughout the season, really, if you look at ADP. We do think he's going to give you spot starter potential this year, and there's good reason for it. So, you know, when prepping for this video, I looked at a few different areas. I looked at 2020 New England, what they did as an offense with a guy like Cam Newton, who's a mobile quarterback. Then I looked at some of the years with some of those last few years with Tom Brady running the show and what this team looked like. And either way you cut it, Damien Harris is still the top guy here, people. Don't get it twisted. Damien Harris is the guy that they are going to start, and he's going to be their RB1. But that looks very different whether it's Cam Newton or whether it's Mac Jones. With Stevenson specifically, he showed what he could do so far in this preseason. Now, obviously, we know he's got that one big run, and you know, if you've watched any of our live streams, we've broken down that run and what should or shouldn't have happened. But either way, Stevenson's got the juice to make some big plays, and he's a different type of running back. Damien Harris is very one-dimensional, where Stevenson can cut it loose and really be a big play threat. Stevenson's looked really good, and he showed promise so far. And now with Sony gone in LA, there really is, I mean, it opens up more opportunity. So when you look at New England's depth chart right now, Harris, Stevenson, J.J. Taylor, James White, still primarily a receiving back, Brandon Bolden still on the roster, you know, and that's current. Who knows what they do? Cuts still haven't gone down completely, and teams' 53s aren't set yet, but it looks like it's Harris and then Stevenson behind him as kind of the top 2 running backs, not necessarily receiving backs. When you look at the 2020 production from the running backs, you know, James White, 62 targets. Rex Burkhead, 33 targets. But then the main runners, Damien Harris and Sony Michel, 7 targets, 6 targets. I mean, the main rusher doesn't tend to get a ton of receptions, potentially. When you look at 2019 and back, James White, 95 targets. Sony Michel, 20 targets. Rex Burkhead, 38. Damien Harris's rookie season, he didn't get any targets. So with Tom Brady running the show, things got a little bit more heavy for James White because obviously we knew the relationship that they had. But then the other running backs got a little bit more involved as well. But you also remember, you know, the wide receiving core wasn't as strong, so the running backs were getting used and checked down quite regularly, and more design plays to get them the ball in space, you know. So it's really an interesting dynamic that we get to, you know. What happens next is going to be critical. The decision on who the starting quarterback is really does change the trajectory of what we anticipate for these guys. But long-term, Stevenson's still a guy that you should want to have on your roster because ultimately he's one injury away from significant playing time. Let me know in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. As always, we thank you guys, and we'll talk to you again in the next one.